G'day folks. Well, it's time to give Blue a idle air control clean because he likes to idle at about 1800 when hot, and that's not particularly good. Not that he's going anywhere for a while, I just want to get that out of the way, just like I did the water getting into the interior problem, and that's pretty much it. Then I'm going to focus all effort on getting my little silver RAV on the road, starting with the brake rotors, but for now I just figure we'll finish off a Sunday afternoon doing another IAC clean, this time in daylight, which is good. It's a little bit windy, but not too bad. I'll post this up to RAV4world.com just in case anyone's curious or has the same thing they want to do. It always helps to clean it, even if it isn't too problematic. Even just cleaning the throttle body itself, it's better to take it off than try and do it in the car. You get a more thorough clean and you don't risk washing debris down into the intake. So yeah, essentially pretty easy to remove all this stuff. That's the ABS and traction relay. That's the air intake temperature sensor, that's just a little thermistor probe. It goes in there, you can even leave them attached and pull it out as a one unit. Now take that off, that's crankcase breather. That's actually the PCV, but that's still a crankcase breather because PCV needs to be after the throttle butterfly and just a regular breather before. That, I'm guessing, is an anti-resonance chamber, that doesn't have to come off, just that clip there. That vacuum line, take the top of the airbox off and just take this whole lot out of the way, and we'll go from there. So yeah, unclip, remove that clip, remove that, or loosen off that hose clamp, and just pull it all out. Just leave that hanging there. Pretty easy. Okay, so granted this engine's only done about 90,000 Ks, it's relatively clean in there. Toyota might have even been cleaning it during part of routine service, I don't really know. But either way, something's causing this to idle too high, and it's usually this little bugger down here. That's a little servo operated valve. There's a permanent magnet rotor and a magnetic field coil in there, sort of like a shaded pole motor essentially, that can rotate either clockwise or anti-clockwise to open or shut the valve. So I have to carefully unplug these wherever the connector is. There is a way of releasing this, there it is. Assuming I can do it one-handed. There we go. And that top one is the throttle position potentiometer. It tells it where the what position the throttle butterfly is in, because the end of the shaft's connected to it, and it's just got a wiper on a carbon trace. Kind of like a volume control pot on an amplifier. So I'm going to need spanners. I think they're 12mm, but don't hold me to it, I'll find out. They're either 11 or 12mm, and something to plug these hoses up, because that's coolant down there that goes through the body to preheat it. I usually use spent cartridge cases or whatever's lying around, anything that fits in the hose, dowel pins. Let's have a rummage around and find something. Okay. Those were 12mm head bolts, I think they're 8mm. So that's done. Unhook the throttle cable, which will just pop out. That's throttle cable. And now I can disconnect those hoses. There's a third one in there, which is just also a vacuum or bypass air. You can see it down there. Pink is coolant residue, so it looks like that's actually leaking or weeping ever so slightly. Yeah, it might be interesting when I get it apart. Have to reseal it, re-gasket it. That's okay. Bit of soot, bit of stuff from the crankcase ventilation, that's about it. Anyway, I'll get those clips undone and plug off those lines. Okay, so that's off and the lines are plugged off. It's all good. Didn't lose much coolant, just a dribble. And that's what we've got to clean up. It's unusually clean, but it's not to say there isn't a problem. Especially around that top edge there, you can see the butterfly itself's all gummed up. And I bet you in there is too. Someone's already had this apart. Those screw heads are cammed out. I wonder if this isn't a problem. I wonder. Yeah, you can certainly see that the screw heads have been cammed and damaged by somebody taking it apart. Same with those ones there. Either that or they tried unsuccessfully, try and do it in the car, but I don't think so. Anyway, let's get this block off. Aha! The plot thickens. Or should I say, the coolant coagulates. Ha! Look at that. It's leaked down into the IAC controller. Only a tiny bit at a time, just weeping in there. And it's actually jammed it up completely. I can't move it. Normally that should spring back, but yeah, I'm not going to force it. I'll damage the edge of that vein there, but just pushing on it, you should be able to move it, but it ain't going anywhere. So I've got to pull this whole thing to bits and clean it out. You can see where the gasket's failed, or rubber formed O-ring. I'm going to make my own with some copper max. Yeah, if I can get that out, I'll get a pick and pick that out and maybe clean it up as best I can and cover everything with a bit of copper max. As long as it's allowed to cure before I start the engine up, it won't get drawn into here. That's the only sensitive bit. The rest of this is just airflow passage. So there's the culprit. It's not so much carbon from long use, because this is a low mile engine. It's coolant residue, possibly due to a failed, well, either that's gone bad, or whoever did these up didn't do them up evenly enough, because I found one bolt was really tight and the others weren't all that tight. So either someone had a go at trying to take it off in the car and gave up when they couldn't get to the other screw, or they just didn't torque it down properly after they first took it off, which has got me buggered why they'd need to anyway at such a low mile point. But you can see the body's very clean too, so someone's had a go at cleaning it. Anyway, that explains a lot, and it's going to get another full clean anyway. You can see the build-up of grime around the edge of the butterfly, both on the butterfly, well not so much on the butterfly, but around the body housing. That is what causes sticking and other issues like that. It also gets down the shaft, and these throttle bodies do stick, or they become slow to return. They become very stiff. But that's generally on high mile engines. They become very stiff and they're sluggish to spring back to closed position. Also known problems with the little RAV4s, and probably the Camry that also carries this same engine, the 3S FE and variants. Anyway, let's start cleaning. Okay, well I've gotten it free. It's still fairly rough. I noticed there's a tiny little ball bearing race down inside there, and since it's had moisture go all the way through, even up to the point of rusting the field poles on the coil pack here, or the magnetic whatever you want to call it, actuator, servo actuator. It's also rusted that bearing race that's in there, so I'm going to get some lube oil in there and work it back and forth a fair bit, take this cover off, clean up inside where the bimetal plate is. Yeah, it may have destroyed this IAC, but either way it's worth a bit of a shot at cleaning it. I know they're reasonably affordable, but I'd like to be able to restore this one. Otherwise I'll be going looking for spare parts, because I can't see how to get that out without trying to punch the whole lot out from the other side and possibly damaging it. If that brass ring comes out easy, then I could change the bearing race on the shaft, but again, the magnetic rotor is actually epoxied to the shaft, so I think that's about it. And yes, that is a very strong magnet. Neodymium rare earth magnet. Okay, well that's the thermostatic element. It's just a bimetal coil that obviously expands as it gets hotter and winds this valve open or shut depending on what position it's in, and the motor can also manipulate it against the bimetal plate under certain conditions, obviously, possibly to help return the engine to idle much more smoothly. So yeah, interesting bit of kit. I've got the bearings free and working. Obviously it's not supposed to spin 360 degrees, but it does. It does now. Yeah, lots more lube oil, heat, dry out every little bit possible, and then stick it all back together again. Hope it works. There's no such thing as a factory sealed unit around here. You can even see dents on the end cover where someone's whacked it with a hammer or something trying to free it up. Not very successful. That thing was stuck tight. That needs a clean too as well. Still plenty to do, but let's get it back together again. Okay, well, it's not the cleanest, but it's got copper max on the high temp coolant side and flange sealant everywhere else. It's just a form in place gasket for the inspection cover and the control motor. It should do the job. I've just got to let it sit and cure. Probably won't get it back on until next weekend, so that's alright. Blue's not in a invasive spot at the moment, so you can just stay there, park it up for a week. Yeah, obviously I left that out. It's shot, there's no point putting it in there, especially since this stuff, I don't know if that'll bond to it or not. I just made my own, just filled the channel and smoothed it off a bit, smeared it on the flat side as well, and just stuck it all together with minimal sealant oozing out the sides, so hopefully it hasn't oozed out into any of the passages too far, but it can't really do anything too bad. I mean, if it dislodges, it could stick the IAC open a bit or just go down the intake, and being as soft as it is, it's not really going to harm anything. It'll just go in one end and out the other. Not really an issue. So that's all good. Thanks for watching, and let you know how well it goes after it is reinstalled. I'm going to get on to putting some interior panels and bits back on for the time being, and when the weather really warms up, we'll pull Blue's entire floor pan carpet assembly out and give it a wash with a pressure cleaner. Same with little Betty over there. We'll give her carpet a full gurney high pressure wash one day. They're both a bit nasty. But yeah, it's great having two RAVs now. I can interchange parts if I can't find a solution to a problem, or can do whatever I want, really. Not bad for $1,500 each. Well, this was sight unseen. This one here I inspected and basically fell in love with straight away. Yeah. So we'll do front discs on little Betty here, all discs and pads, and then take her in for a preliminary roadworthy inspection. Shouldn't be too hard to get a pass. Yeah, very good. Thanks for watching.